Vicki Haspels. I'm the Conscious Mystic and welcome to the weekly forecast. Each week I like to draw some cards from my deck, the Mythic Tarot, using the meaning of the cards and the message channel from Spirit. I like to bring guidance and inspiration for the week ahead. This is for the week commencing May 13th through to May the 19th, 2024. I like to choose an influence card to show what's influencing the card of the week, the cards of the week. I like to choose a card for each day of the week, and then a sole purpose card to show us what is the bigger picture for the week. So let's begin. Let's look at the influence card for the week ahead. Let's choose a card. 7 of Wands. Great. 7 of Wands is showing us or highlighting for us where we are letting ourselves down a little bit, and we are the 7 of Wands doesn't mean you're letting yourself down. It is highlighting where we can actually pick ourselves up. I want to go with my first comment though, that it's highlighting where we're letting ourselves down, because the 7 of Wands will not let us stay there. The 7 of Wands lifts us and said, you know what, I can do that. I can actually achieve that. And it helps us recognize our strengths, how good we are at something where we didn't know it before. And it helps us recognize that, because there are external influences around us that highlight where we are actually quite talented or skilled. It is in our external environment or the people around us that influence is reflected to us, and we go, well, I can actually do that. So be mindful, and this card is going to be influencing each of the cards of the week, and I'm interested to see where that heads. So let's pop that one back in the deck. Monday, May May the 18th. Let's choose a card. Oh. Okay. Emperor. Monday is the Emperor. The Emperor represents stability. So look, I feel like, especially with the influence card, I'm reading it with the influence card in mind as well. The Emperor does represent stability. It is showing you where you are stable, as in where things have been quite much the same. That they haven't moved, but there's no reason to move them. Why would I want to change that? Everything's fine. So the Emperor is, I feel, the launch pad for the week, as in with the 7 of Wands influence. It is showing you this is what you're good at. This is what you've been doing for a while, but do you need to lift that? So sometimes when the Emperor does show up, there is a little bit of a wobble underneath, just to give us a bit of a nudge to say, is everything good? Are you sure that you are quite stable here? Are there some things that need to be shifted? But we're certainly starting with what grounds us. So I'm just going to pop that one back in the deck. Tuesday, May the 14th. Let's choose a card. Six of Wands. 6 of Wands for us on Tuesday is, again, a card that highlights our achievements and our skills. We are being primed to say, you know what, you're good at this, you're good at that. You actually have some recognition of what you're good at. I feel like that it is, especially with the Emperor the day before and the 7 of Wands influencing everything, you are being reminded, but also I think that it's not even reminded. It feels like a setting up the stage for what's to come for the rest of the week. There's a very strong sort of a sense or feeling of the messaging that I'm getting is that we are going to be asked to say, you know what, you've got all this sorted out. No more focusing on that. Let's get let's move up. But I'm predicting, that's the feeling that I'm getting from the 2 cards that have already shown up and the influence card from the week. So this, just the 6 of Wands represents getting your, not getting your qualifications sorted. What do you have? It's almost like getting your resume sorted. Okay, on paper, what do I have? What can I show for that? And how can I present myself in a way that says, you know what, I'm actually quite professional, and these are the reasons why. I just feel like there's a little bit of a setup here going on, but let's just see. That one's back in the deck. Wednesday, May 15th. Let's choose a card. Ooh, 5 of Pentacles. It's funny that that's on the Wednesday. It's sort of, I mean, even though Wednesday is traditionally at midweek, you know, as we do. It is, and it's a 5, a pivot point. 5 of Pentacles in this instance. It's reminding us, not saying that we must, but we will be walking away from something that we know works for us, as in on paper, everything looks good, but we will be moving away or pivoting away from that because it doesn't suit our where we find ourselves emotionally, or even it doesn't match our values. So where in your life have you been doing the same thing and you've got all of these skills and qualifications and feel quite grounded in that? What are you prepared to say, you know, I'm okay that I've got this all in place? Not that you have to abandon it, but are you ready to walk away and attempt something new? Wipe that slate clean and attempt something different. I don't feel like we have to abandon something, or that we're going to abandon something. However, we are being asked to take our attention away from that, just to prepare ourselves. And again, I feel like we're being prepared for something, to prepare ourselves to invite something new in. The Emperor, like Monday's card and Tuesday's card, is letting us know that we have that sorted. We do not need to give it so much attention anymore. Everything is sorted. It can bubble along nicely. If it's a job, we can just go to our job and turn up and go back home again. And the 5 is asking us, well, where else can your attention go? You don't need to be that. You don't have to be that right now. Is that what you want? Are you prepared to say, it doesn't fit my values, or it doesn't fit where I am at the moment? I feel a bit empty. You don't have to walk away, but it might feel like that you are pulling away from it. Let's see where that pivot takes us. That one's back in the deck. Thursday, May 16th. Let's choose a card. Two of Pentacles. Perfect. After that feeling of not turning our back, or it's sort of turning our back, but it's actually cutting that cord and letting that go. The 5 is, okay, I'm ready to try something, this new thing or something different. I know that I'm feeling restless. Let's see what that is. The 2 of Pentacles comes in to say, well, okay, you've got these skills, you've got this, you're ready to put yourself out there. I feel like the 6 has said, okay, I'm gathering together my qualifications and my skills and what I can do. I'm already quite experienced and quite grounded, but my attitude has changed. The 5 of Wands says my attitude has changed. Something inside of me says, this isn't quite what fits me anymore. Thursday is going to find us actually looking for something. We're going to put our feelers out, or put ourselves out there, or actually start searching. If it's a new job, especially, this is very work related, especially if it's a new job, looking for something, even putting some applications in. If it's to do with like love life, then you may feel that your current situation in your love life has reached a sort of a point of staleness. and you're actually looking at what qualities do you have that makes you feel good within. What is your value here? What is your worth? Not as a reflection of the relationship, but how do we feel within ourselves? Same with our job. Yes, this job may feel like I'm attached to it and this is who I am, but what is it about me that makes me vital to this job? So a lot of that feeling that we've had already for the week is that we're established, we know where we are, but we're too sort of stuck in or attached to that external circumstance. We're pulling back from that and saying, actually, what do I bring rather than what does it give me? What am I bringing to the world? What is it that I have that makes me unique? And again, we have the influence of the 7 there. It's pulling us up and saying, you are not something and part of that. You are not hidden and part of something that you can't be. No. We've got the influence of the 7 saying, you are, to help you recognize that you are part of something which is helping you feel stable. But how can you lift yourself up out of that and say, what actually makes me unique? And the 2 of Pentacles speaks to that part of us. What is it that makes us good and special? And we really must dig deep to find out what that means. Let's pop that one back in the deck. Friday, May 17th. Let's choose a card. The Hermit. The Hermit represents where we have understood and recognized our inner wisdom. We know like that this week has been quite give a bit of a shake up. Really, we're reaching inside what makes us unique or stand apart. What makes us what is recognizing the skills that we have and owning it and being okay with that and saying and being proud of it and showing it off. So the Hermit comes along and helps us to turn that into a mature outlook so that we fully accept that this is our way forward, that it's an integral part of us, that we have perhaps been as part of a collective, but now we're sort of pulling that part of us out and making a show of it. That takes a lot of courage to say, to stand out from a crowd or feel that we are a little bit different, or that we recognize that we have something that sets us apart. This is a time of maturing that feeling or that idea. Now, when the Hermit turns up, we must have a period of isolation and where we feel a little bit separate from the world, even though we're in the world. We feel like we can't immerse ourselves in things that are funny with our friends, or we don't really feel like we're part of a social scene or a social setting or a group or a family dynamic or a relationship dynamic. We feel we're part of it, but we're apart from it. That's a bit of an odd feeling, but it's necessary for that maturity to gain hold and that we can become familiar with it so that we walk that talk and move forward with it. That brings us confidence in our abilities and who we are, and that we trust that in our abilities and who we are. And if anything ever gets challenged, we will not back down. We'll go, well, this is actually who I am, and I'm okay with that. Okay, so that one's back in the deck. Saturday, May the 18th. Let's choose a card. Okay. Oh, 2 want to come out. The rule is if 2 comes out, they're both going to be read. 2 for 1 today. Here we have the High Priestess, and we have the 10 of Wands. So Friday is a bit of a, as I said, double act, the 2 cards together. The High Priestess represents our intuitive self, and the 10 of Wands represents the expectations that we place on our own shoulders, once we realize how much we've actually placed there, we all of a sudden we think, oh my God, I've actually overwhelmed myself. So following on from the Hermit card, that connection to our deep wisdom of who we are and acceptance of who we are increases our intuitive self. That's just the High Priestess. Our intuition is heightened. It's all we are. What comes from that is a bit of a rush of, oh my God, what do I do with all of this? It's our creative self almost explodes, if you like, and these ideas come forward, and the overwhelm that comes with it explodes as well. Like, there's that not a danger, but there's the prospect that the overwhelm may overtake all of the progress that we've made this week. And so the intuitive part of ourselves it's a blessing, and everything opens up. And then the creative part goes, whoa, I can do all this. What am I going to do with it? Too much. Remember that it is just for one day, or it's just for one moment. It may last for a bit longer. However, I always like it when the Ten of Wands, when the Ten of Wands turns up, you can see that each of those sticks with flames, those expectations, are piled on one at a time. The first instinct would be to go whoosh and just drop it all, but that means that everything becomes a mess and we still have to scramble around trying to fix it. I like to think that we take the most external one first and take care of it, the next external one and take care of it. So one at a time, we can release ourselves from those expectations. Now those things may be things that are already in place. They may be jobs or tasks that we already have in place and we realize how overwhelmed we are. Or they may be ones that we have all of a sudden thought, oh, I need to do all these things. We can pick through them one by one. Doing this just creates more work if you just break free from it. Doing it one by one, looking at it, examining it in your own time, allows you to think, okay, do I need to keep this? Do I need to let it go? You get to examine them one by one and ease the burden gently. There is no need to just feel crushed by it, and there's no need to make more work for yourself by just throwing your arms up into the wind. Slowly, one by one, that those expectations or tasks have been highlighted for a purpose, for a reason. Look at them one by one, decide what you want to do, deal with it, and then let it go. They become less and you become freer as you do so. There might be some gems of creativity in there, or there may be some things that, you know what, you don't need to do anymore, and yes, they can be discarded. Anyway, they're both back Sunday, May 19th. Let's choose a card. Oh, 5 of Wands. There we go. I always like to end the week with a bit of a challenge. I think that I'm noticing a pattern now that sets us up for the week ahead, the following week. So the 5 of Wands, yes, we've got a 5, we have a challenge, we have a pivot point. When if we're following on from the 10 of Wands and we start to pick through those tasks or responsibilities or even our thoughts as we go through them one by one, this represents those tasks. You will notice on Friday, as you go through them, you will realize that they're not actually as intense as first thought. You remember from the 10 of Wands how overwhelmed it feels like a big burden on the shoulders. As you move through them, you recognize that that's easy to fix, that's easy to fix, that's easy to fix. And so the looming image of the dragon calms right down, and it's actually just a little kitty that you can tame and be friends with. So the overwhelm is manageable, and it shows also too, because the 5 is there and a pivot point, what is highlighted is, I think that there's a little niggle there that we may go, oh, all too much. It's too hard. I can't do too many things to deal with. And so there's a decision that must come, as in how we're going to move forward. Are we going to use the 5 of Wands to abandon everything because, oh, it looks too hard? Or are we going to use it to recognise, well, actually I can deal with these things. It's not so overwhelming, and I have the time, skills and patience to actually get it done. Anyway, that one's back in the deck. So this is the Soul Purpose card, the card that ties everything together and shows us actually what our soul is experiencing and gaining knowledge from the week. It's our higher purpose. Oh, the 2 of Pentacles has shown up again. So the purpose, the sole purpose of the week is to recognise our individual skills, our individual greatness. It brings us back to what actual choices we do have, where we have the power to make a decision about which path to head down. And we do that by recognising what is intrinsic to us and our own personal value. We choose what we value and how we're going to express that down our path, down our life path. This week is giving us the opportunity to discard some old ways of doing things, not by ripping them away, but by just saying, no, they can just stay there. We can do these other things as well as, what do I have that makes me unique and special? How do I own that? How that opens up our creativity, and how we then decide to move forward. We can use that to crush ourselves and say, oh, yeah, this is actually too much. Or we can look at it for what it is. One thing at a time we can take care of, and those huge looming problems are not actually huge. They are quite tame, and we can take care of them one by one, and they tend to resolve themselves quite easily. So that card is back in the deck. So there we have it, the weekly forecast for week May the 13th through to May the 19th, 2024. It's been a great week, an interesting week. Thank you so much for joining me. My name's Vicki Haspels. I'm the Conscious Mystic. I'll see you next week. Much love from me. Mwah. Bye.